hello, and welcome to Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm one of your hosts, PWR Ryan, and joining me today is Daddy Perino. How you doing, man?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. There's a bit of a rushed start to this one. I just got home right before this started, so I'm just kind of taking a deep breath. I opened up a Corona. We got everything sorted out here.
Yeah, you were out getting Chinese, weren't you?
Yeah, and so because you had texted me and you were like, "Hey, I want to start the podcast a little bit early." I'm like, "That's fine." I'm just gonna get Chinese food so then I can eat, right, and then do the podcast and we're good to go. And then the place took forever. It was packed. Yeah. I was like, no. So I'm like sprinting home practically to get back in time.
People love their Chinese, man.
I am incredibly loyal to my Chinese food.
Oh no, same. Once I find one, I go to that one.
Well, because ours is it's not really great Chinese food, but it's they give you a lot and it's not expensive. So it's I can order a small General Tso's with white rice and it's good for 2 days, and it's not expensive. So that's where the value is.
No, that's definitely where the value is. But there's also value in listening to us. If you didn't know, this is Around the Scene, episode 25. Coming to you live every single Wednesday to give you your fix on all things Rocket League. If you like this, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, follow, do all that jazz wherever you listen to us. We would greatly appreciate that, and it helps support the show. Want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon sponsors for the month of, it's October now. I have to fix that. We got Father of Five and Jonesy. We thank them so much for their support. And then before we go into the rest of the show, quick announcement. I'm a Rival Series caster, technically. Hey! That's why I'm wearing the hat.
I didn't get to catch it live, but I watched the VOD, and you and Greek were pretty good. I gotta say, I was impressed.
It was much better this time around. First time I didn't feel quite as comfortable. I was I think I was just really psyched out by the number of people watching. This time wasn't nearly as fazed by it, so it was much better.
Yeah, it was listening to you guys cast stuff. Well, it was also nice too because again, I only listened to it was Afterthought and Chaos, right?
Oh, that game was such a good series.
You had such a good series for it, and that was the only one I got to listen to. But yeah,
and the fact that we had the 7-minute overtime was just. I was like, what a great way to start that.
And there's a before we really start digging into the show, there's another thing I want to bring up as well. Another quick housekeeping item is that we have hit 100 followers on Spotify. So if you are listening on Spotify, thank you for the follows. We appreciate it.
People actually listen to us. And apparently Neo is actually a Patreon supporter now. I haven't actually gone and looked at Patreon today, so I couldn't double check to make sure that it was correct. But yep,
Neo, thank you
for your support.
There you go. We got it.
All right, enough of us chit-chatting. You're here for the news. We're going to jump right on into it. Today we have 5 items technically if you count the league play stuff. First up is RLCS Madrid LAN will be cast in Spanish at the venue. You and me kind of touched on this right before the show started. But you had some thoughts, and before you get those out, I just want to clarify on why I think people are so, for those of you who don't know, people are really upset about this. People are kind of pissed, to be honest, that it's going to be cast in Spanish at the venue. The reason I think so many people are upset is that they bought the tickets, then they found out.
Right.
Because it wasn't like, hey, before you buy the tickets, FYI, this is all going to be in Spanish live at the venue. Because if people had known that, I think instead of going there, people would almost have been like, let's just have a party somewhere here in North America where everybody can come watch together or something, Like at least some of the content creators at least who would go do it every time, but it's I understand because it wasn't why when you get to the checkout point, it doesn't say, oh, by the way, if you don't know Spanish, you might not enjoy this.
Right. So there's a couple of things. One, obviously, as you said, it wasn't announced beforehand, so that's why people were upset, and I get that. So I went to RLCS. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, I went this past season to the one in Newark, and I get where people are coming from, because it's very expensive to go. If you're not like in like that area of the world, like you have to get hotels, you have to get flights, you have to get tickets. You got to expense out for like food, like you're gonna go to the after parties and stuff. Like it's a financial commitment to go. So like
No,
I
it
get
really is, and that's part of why I kind of understand people being so upset, especially if you're one of the people who's flying from North America or someplace outside of Europe to go to it.
But I don't think the venue itself having everything announced and casted in Spanish, I don't think that alone will ruin the experience for you. I truly fundamentally believe that it being in a different language, even if you don't know a lick of Spanish, I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world for a few reasons. But one, most of the crowd, like most of the people who are going to be at the event, will know how to speak English. Like, it's not like when you go, it's not like you're interacting with the casters. Like, yes, like I understand like the game's casted in Spanish, but
that was like something I wanted to ask you, is like, as someone who's been to RLCS, and maybe people in chat who have been to RLCS can chime in on this as well, but they broadcast the commentary throughout the venue. When you were there as a viewer, do you feel like the commentary really is adding that much? To be honest, like, and be honest here, like, did you pay attention to the commentary? Like, did you feel like it changed how everything went for you?
the where it makes a difference, I think, is between the games. So like listening to the analysis and stuff after, and they're doing like the interviews and stuff, like that I can see, because I'm making the assumption that's all going to be done in Spanish as well. So like, the analysis between games, when they do like they had like the video production stuff with like the players, so I'm assuming like all the interviews will be automatically translated back into Spanish. So
Yeah.
like I I just don't think that having the casters and the analysts all in Spanish, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Especially like if you really know Rocket League, like you're not gonna like miss out on things because it's being cast in Spanish. Like
No,
if you know what you're watching.
And that was one of my curiosities, and we have Peach Tundra and Eternal Jake chiming in there on the chat as well, saying like the commentary in the venue really didn't change things for them per se. Like they weren't in fact, in Eternal Jake's comment at Landon, you couldn't even hear it. And I think that's going to be the case, is like, especially in the European countries, more or less, like because this is so close to soccer, you're going to get a lot of like really high energy people there. Like that's just like how that area is in the world. Like they're really into it all. Not to say that North America is bad about it, but you're not going to see the same energy, and that's just how
it's a different experience.
Yeah, it's a different experience. It's a different type of energy. I really couldn't figure out how to phrase that properly, but it is that thing of, I think if you're going for the first time, it kind of sucks. But I really think that like even if you did, like I still think you're going to have a ball. You're still going to see a lot of people there who you're going to want to get autographs from. You're going to be able to engage with, because guess what? There's still plenty of people who are going to be coming who already booked their tickets from other European countries and from North America and OCE probably. So it's like, I don't think you have to worry too much. I think like you're still going to have that community aspect of like being able to interact with other people and sharing the experience. You just may not all speak the same language, but that's the beauty in esports and sporting in general, is you may not speak the same language, but hey, we're both here. We're both enjoying this really cool thing together. And I think that's the important part about it. And I think that, yeah, I get it. It sucks. Like you're not gonna be able to understand some of the stuff, but again, you're probably not gonna be able to pay much attention to it anyway.
Yeah, I just again, like, so like when I saw this and I saw like people were like genuinely like really upset, and I don't, maybe it also helps that I do speak some Spanish, so like I don't feel like if it were me, like I don't think I would care.
Yeah. See, like,
But
as someone who doesn't speak like any Spanish, I think initially I'd be very upset, but I think it would wear off. I think eventually I'd just be like, I already paid for it all. Like, I'm gonna go do this anyway. Like, this is still gonna be cool. It's still gonna be exciting. My dogs are arguing behind me. Quit it.
interrupting
But
a train of thought.
yeah, but I think it's just one of those things that I think it's the initial thing. I think it's all gonna boil over. I think it's all just gonna pass over. I mean, I already am seeing less people really saying anything about it. It was that initial thing of like, what? And now it's kind of like,
You mean
okay.
they're gonna have an event in Spain and they're gonna speak Spanish at said event?
Well,
Oh,
I think that's the thing too, though, is like a lot of people knew that if it was in France, that it has to be in French at the venue. And so I think if like they did it in Paris, a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, okay, like I know what I'm getting into." I think it was just I think half of it is just knowing what you're getting into, and I think that's really where it got a lot of people. But I mean, I think people are going to be okay at the end of the day. I think people are still going to go. They're going to have a good time with it. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's Rocket League.
yeah.
It's the world championship for Rocket League. Like, you're still going to have a damn good time going.
Madrid is going to be an absolutely phenomenal event. I
It's
have
beautiful
no doubt.
too. Like, that's a beautiful location. Better than Newark.
Oh God, yeah,
At least you're going to like a really cool place, you know?
yeah. And again, se puede aprender un poquito de español. It's not a problem, man. You know, like, like I don't know. I just listen. Go out, have an open mind, have a ton of fun. The LAN events for this esport are so incredible. You will have such an amazing time. Trust me, it's not going to matter. Go, have fun, do your thing. It's amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
And you heard it here first, or eighth, or whenever. Moving on to the next bit of news. This one, it kind of slipped through the cracks, as you and me were kind of talking about. Like, none of us really knew about this, but OCE League Play is getting TV broadcasts in Australia and New Zealand. Taking a look at their tweet, LPL Play, who apparently is kind of in charge of some of it, said, "Here's our official tournament broadcast schedule for the Pro Rocket League Oceanic Championship League Play. Catch the action on Twitch, Channel 7, and Sky Sports News." So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the fact that you can get it on Sky is interesting. I wonder how many people will actually watch it, considering, it's live, live on Twitch, and it's like, if most people are going to watch that avenue, I just don't.
Times. So, yeah, all three of them are going to broadcast each week. So week 1 is going to be but it's going to be a delay. So if you miss week 1 if you missed it on September 29th, you were able to catch it on October 3rd. And if you missed October 3rd, you can catch it on October 10th. So you can like, they're doing these like so spread out that it's like you can easily follow along with it. You're going to get a lot of delay on that, but you can still follow along with it.
Right. Yeah. I just, again, getting on cable television is a good thing. So the more that we can do that, the better. And also for an area that's traditionally been underrepresented in this esport.
No, and that's the thing too, is like, it's kind of cool that it's happening in that area, because it's like, okay, if it does really well there, then okay, maybe you can see it transition over into Europe and South America and North America. Like, eventually we'll start maybe showcasing some of our stuff. I mean, E-League's been working really hard to showcase like documentary type things. They have a documentary thing, I can't remember what it's called. It's like Road to Championship or something like that.
Did you get the chance to watch that?
Nope.
Neither did I.
I need to go like set it to record on my stuff, but it's on TBS if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that
it's
a
like
lot.
a whole documentary series. They're doing it over multiple weeks, so you can go check that out. I'll try to follow up with more information on that if you don't know where to find it already. But I gave you enough information that you should be able to Google it. I don't have it in my notes, unfortunately. I just know about it.
we covered it a lot last week, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely always a positive sign because you know what the thing is, these broadcasters, they pay for the rights to broadcast it, so that means
No, and
they
that's exactly
value it.
it.
Like, so it's a good thing.
It's always a good thing. I like seeing these news networks and channels and everybody getting on board with esports more and more. I mean, you can only go up with this stuff, man. You really can.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add on this one? There's not really a whole lot for us to talk about.
Yeah,
We don't know too much about OCE.
I know it's really bad. Did you there was a post on the Rocket League subreddit, or sorry, the esports subreddit. There's like a Sporkle quiz. It's like, can you name every single RLCS LAN roster like throughout all of the seasons? And it was like I did it, and like everyone's like, oh yeah,
every single LAN roster.
yeah. So like you'd have to type in all the names of the players, like as it's like a quiz. It gives you like the team, but it doesn't give you the players. So like you have to go through and like, oh, like in season 1, Kings of Urban was blank blank blank. I don't. It's a fun quiz. Go check it out. But my
I'll
point
have
being,
to go look that up. I probably would fail.
it's oh, the point I was gonna make was that like when I did that quiz, like I thought I was pretty good, and then like it went to like the OCE and South American rosters, and I was like Drippe
Nope.
and
Drippe,
CJ,
Torsos, Zen, CJ.
yeah, and then it goes
Tommy,
right.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's
That's
bad.
about
No, it's
all
really
I've
bad.
got.
Yeah, so I definitely need to do more homework because
No, we both do. Between EU, OCE, and Sam, like you and me have so much more to learn about those, so that we can like be better about that.
yeah,
But,
try to be better people, guys.
You know, we're trying to give a better show. We're trying to work on it.
No.
But moving on to our next bit of news, and this is the biggest one. This one I would like to spend a little bit of time discussing with you. But we are shifting to 10 teams in RLCS Season 9. There's been no blog posts about it, but it was listed in the RLCS rulebook as found by Dazarin and has been confirmed live on stream by LeafX during the Week 1 broadcast. This is huge. Like, this is something that people have been asking for so freaking long, and it finally is coming to fruition. And the transition comes at the end of this season is when they kind of fill out the 10th spots and everything. But the funny thing about it is it's like, if you made RLRS this season, like, oh man, like you just got so much more motivated for this.
Yes, so because correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the system that they're going to employ is that the top 2 teams from RLRS this season will auto-qual into RLCS, and then the 3 and 4 will play against the teams that are going on the drop from RLCS.
No, so you're kind of right. You're half right, half wrong. So the way it works is it's not based on your league play results for top 1 and 2. What happens is there's going to be the top 4 teams that come out of RLRS then go against each other. The top 2 teams that come out of that little tournament, they auto-qualify.
Okay.
Then the 2 teams that messed up in that tournament and got the 3rd, 4th place then go into the promotion relegation playoff against the bottom 2 RLCS teams.
Okay.
So you could see a potential addition of 4 RLRS level teams this season.
Yeah, that that makes
crazy.
the stakes for RLRS this season insane because top 4 now is everything.
Like
Everything.
you can get 4th place in league play and still possibly make RLCS. Like that's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy. That I mean, what an incredible opportunity. But again, I know a lot of people have asked for this for a long time, so I'm glad that they're doing it because it also means that we'll get a longer season out of it, which I also enjoy. So
no, and that's me too. Is like I'm excited about the fact that it's a longer season. I'm curious how they're gonna go about it, considering when they added the 10th teams for RLR, even last season for RLRS, what they were doing is they added on the B stream, which is what I joined in on with Rival Esports.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious what they're going to do with RLCS in that regard, because I can't see them adding a B string to that. I don't see them doing that.
Mike,
And then, like, the other thing too is, like, even if they did, like, I don't know. I just don't see them doing that, to be honest.
they can't afford to split the viewership on the
No, and like that's
on
the
the
thing is, like, for RLCS, like, they don't want to. And so it
right.
means they're finally going to have to own up and just start
Make a longer
paying for
season.
more days in that studio. Because that's, like, the big thing is, like, they keep having to pay for more days in the studio, which I get. It's expensive and stuff. But, like, that's why they dropped the play-ins cast in the studio, is because they switched it to the promotion and relegation stuff, because now they had the extra day due to the page playoff for the top 4 RLRS teams.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's
yeah.
like, I get it all, but it's like, it also is like weird.
Yeah, it's one of those changes that will also affect how I think they go about Worlds. So, if they're moving
Yeah.
NA and EU to 10 teams, I think the additional presumption is that they will in turn also expand the size of the RLCS World Championship LAN.
Yeah, and everybody, like, it obviously would be better if they switched it to 16 teams from this 12.
Yes.
Because naturally that's a better round robin system. It's not based out of, like, two, like, you play one game, you win your game, and it's like, oh, like, you're good for the final day. So it's like, hopefully that's what it means.
I'm hoping.
I mean, to be
Because
honest though, like, I'm like, thinking ahead, like, I'm already prepared for the day when Rocket League hits that point where it's like other esports, like Dota and League and stuff like that, where it's like World Championships go on for like 2 weeks, man. Like, that's
yeah.
fine with me. Like, that's more Rocket League for me. I am freaking down for that. Like, I'm so down.
Yeah, but I think we need more high-level teams
Yeah, and I
before we
think
can
it's
go
gonna
that
get to
way.
that point eventually. I'm just thinking, like, really far down the road is all.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's super exciting. I can't wait to see kind of what, like, really, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm just excited to see how it pans out at the end of the season. Like, what's it gonna look like for not only teams promoting into RLCS, but also teams relegating. You saw teams just disband so quickly because they were just like, screw it. RLRS is nothing. But I think by the fact that they have 10 teams in RLCS, 10 teams in RLRS, it stabilizes the scene so much more that I'm hoping this means we get more organizations willing to buy in. And I'm hoping that it means we have more teams willing to stay together despite relegation. Because, hey, you're not out yet, you're still in it. Like, you still, because, and I'm hoping that they keep this style where 2 teams from RLRS will automatically qualify in or something like that. I kind of hope that happens. And then, like, I don't know, my thought is they do 2 teams automatically qualify in and 2 teams automatically demote from RLCS. So I'm thinking you do a playoff. I'm thinking you do a playoff with the top 4 RLRS teams, find out who the top 2 are, they automatically move up. You do bottom 4 RLCS teams, bottom 2, they fall out. And then bottom 3 and 4 for RLRS, top 1 and 2, they have to duke it out.
That's interesting. I think that puts a lot of
It puts a lot more pressure on the
pressure on
RLCS teams, for sure.
Yeah, because basically what you're saying then is if you finish anywhere within the bottom 4 of a 10-man league and you face the prospect of relegating,
Yeah.
like, that's a lot. I don't know if I'd be a fan of that element in particular, because I don't think that would be fair to a team that finishes, 7th out of 10 to then have to face the prospect of relegation, because those tournaments are rough.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I'd be okay even with them saying, like, okay, You did really bad in league play. You did really good in league play. Bottom RLCS team, top RLRS team, they swap. I'd be like, I think I just really like the idea of rewarding a team for all their hard work in RLRS with the automatic qualification into RLCS, because you did so well over all these weeks against all these other teams. Like the fact that Veloce, if Triple Triple hadn't disbanded, wouldn't be in RLCS right now is like, they got a 7-0 season. Like, what do you mean they don't make it in?
Yeah, because it's
and
one
now they're
tournament.
2-0 in European League play. Like, it's one of those things that, like, come on, if the team does really well in league play or they do really bad in league play, I think that should be punished almost, you know? And then they can do a promotion relegation deal with the three with 7th through 9th for RLCS and 2nd through 4th for RLRS. You know, just do it that way then.
Yeah, that's interesting because again, like, so with most like traditional like soccer leagues, right? I say soccer, I know it's the American way. I'm sorry for any of our EU listeners, but hear me
Football?
out. Football, see, but you know, like traditionally, like the way that it works, like I'll use the English Premier League as an example. Like the bottom 3 teams out of 20 just drop straight up. There's no tournament. There's no nothing. If you finish between the spots 18 and 20, you're just gone straight up.
Out.
But then on the promo, right? So on the promo, what they do is they have the top. This might not be 100% correct, but there is an auto qualification spot for winning the second, like the second tier league. Mm-hmm. They have auto qualification spots, and then there's a playoff below that for who gets the 3rd spot.
Yeah.
So I believe the top 2 automatically qualify out of the championship, is what it's called, and then they have a tournament for the rest. So I think something like that would be fine. I just don't like the idea of having, like, you know, these RLCS teams who are on the drop. Like, either send them down, or you know, but don't make them like fight it out to see like who goes down. I don't know. It's one of those things for me. Like,
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of them fighting it out though, because there still is like a glimmer of hope then, you know? Like, you could have had the worst season ever. Like, things just didn't work out for you. But through sheer grit and just willing to work it out, you could still possibly hold your spot. And I really like that. Because, I mean, like, Mouse Esports, for example, they wouldn't be in or formerly the Bricks. They wouldn't be in RLCS still had they not had the option to go for that playoff, the promotion relegation. They managed to stave off relegation and keep themselves there. And they almost took down TSM this week. Almost. Till the reverse sweep came and hit him.
I was going to say.
Came and bitch slapped him across the back of the face, you know?
Yeah, until Alpha 54 literally turned into the backpack himself.
Off. But we're going to get more into that later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was crazy. But, I mean, no, I'm super excited about this, and I just... Like, weirdly, it sounds weird saying this, but I love the whole RLCS league play stuff. I almost can't wait for the season to end so I can see how the playoff stuff pans out. Like, I'm just so excited to see how that pans out that I'm almost like, let's skip all this bullshit because I want to see this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It'll make for a really, really interesting end of the season where we have all of these additional spots, you know, opening up. So it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Get excited. But moving on to our next bit, the October update is set to drop on October 14th for Rocket League. It's going to include the Halloween kind of special stuff. I'm trying to think of how to say it. The in-game event. There we go.
There you go.
So you can get like the candy corn and then go claim prizes and all that stuff. But it also comes with some key features. So you will now have the option in the post-game screen to party up with your teammates. If things are working well, you can go join those guys and keep playing, moving through ranked. You also will start getting a team-colored boost meter. So now that they're allowing like black and white decals and all this other stuff that really throws off like what team you're on. They're just adding that as an extra indicator of like, hey, you're on orange team or you're on blue team. And then they also have a quick play button. So there will soon be one less button to press when you press to get you exactly where you want to go. Following the update, you'll be able to select quick play and immediately start searching for a game in the last playlist you joined. New players will default to the 3v3 standard playlist when selecting quick play for the first time. And then you'll also get news panel refresh. As soon as you start up Rocket League following the October update, you'll notice that the news section has received a new coat of paint. A grid of information that is usually found on the right side of the screen has been replaced with a new welcome screen that will highlight new events, DLC, or other major announcements. Once dismissed, it can be accessed again via a hidden news tab on the right side of the screen. And then last but not least, 2 new esports decals for teams Complexity and Space Station Gaming will be added into the esports shop. And Mellow Future kind of mentioned it there in chat. Wish they would do more esports items. And I'm with you. I wish they would do more esports items as well. I had someone point this out to me though, because I mentioned it in one of the Discord servers. I was like, oh, this sucks. Like I was hoping to see like a rec decal or one of these other decals of teams that have been here. And they pointed out to me, hey, it still is technically in the pilot program. And so that's probably why they're not trying to blaze through adding all these orgs yet, is because it still is in the pilot stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot to break down with what you just went through. That's actually
I blazed through a lot of stuff.
Pretty sizable update.
It's a nice quality of life update for the most part.
Yeah, well, and then you didn't even mention the fact that they're adding the Stranger Things items.
No, that's the next part of it. You're going ahead. Read the script.
No, sorry. I'm freeballing it, Ryan. Damn it.
But they're also going to be bringing a Stranger Things theme along with it. I'll show you guys that trailer here in just a little bit. You spoil everything.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorry. I didn't know. I was late, but okay, so esports items. Let's talk about esports items for a second. So I know a lot of people were kind of upset that there weren't more organizations added. As you said, it is still the pilot program, so they're still trying to get teams in that. But also, we truly don't know the details of how those agreements are set up. Yeah. So it's not really fair to say, oh well, I wish they could just add more orgs in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a whole setup with like the cost sharing and or the revenue sharing for it.
And we have no idea how that works. So it's like,
no, it's one of those things that's just like I want to get all these team decals, and I'm like, oh, I like that, I want to get it, but I can't. So it's like, nah.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily tend to blast Psyonix for that, because I understand that it's complicated and it's not just as straightforward as like, oh, here's a team reciprocity decal. Yeah. Let's just copy paste onto an Octane. Here you go. It's not.
Yeah, no, there's
really
a lot
not like
that goes
that.
into it. But I want to hit off of Eternal J's point there in chat. The issue becomes, if it's still a pilot program after the pilot season, then when does it become a fully fledged thing? I think the answer to that is going to be based on how this whole blueprints no crate thing kind of pans out, because you can also purchase items. You're going to be able to purchase items directly, correct, with the credits.
Yes, esports tokens will remain separate from those credits.
Well, but so I think they're going to try a different system from what they're doing with the esports shop. And if that goes over well, then they may just say, hey, let's do the same thing with the esports shop, but still keep them as separate things, to be honest, I think if they just made it to where you could just go in and purchase, like how we purchase the car packs of the Dominus, Takumi, and all that stuff. If they just said, hey, here's the esports ones, you can purchase this, X amount goes to here, 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 and here. I feel like that would work, and I kind of don't understand why they aren't doing that. But I mean, it's one of those things that you just kind of have to wait and see. I'm not a fan of this whole let's try to make it somewhat semi-exclusive before it rotates back into the shop 5 days later, or in some cases, it stays in the shop continuously because there's not enough things to rotate around.
Yeah, yeah. It's again, for as much hype as there was for the esports shop in the beginning, like it's gotten to a point now because they've been out for so long at this point that like the whole rotation, like it's like why? Like I made sure like the first like 2 weeks, like when it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for that G2 Octane decal, and I'm gonna wait for that Dignitas, Dominus decal every day.
I was checking it religiously. Then I got everything I wanted, and like
And now you're like,
I occasionally
whatever.
poke in there just to see like if they have like a cool colored wheel or something going on right then. But otherwise, I'm just like, I really don't care. Like,
yeah. So
if they just said, here's a flat, like here is the G2 pack, comes with these wheels, these decals, and it comes with also, or no, it should just be like it comes with these decals, comes with these wheels, flat $20 or what have you. But then they also have like a second pack where it's like, hey, if you want like colored versions of these wheels and stuff,
yeah,
you can buy this too or something. Like I'd be okay with that. Like I think that there's just a bunch of different things that they can do with this that they're just really. Psyonix has always liked to move slowly on these things. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on it. They may have something on their hands, may not. Despite how big they've grown, they still are very, like, they try to be as calculated as they can be when they go from decision to decision.
calculated.
They try to be. That's what I'm saying. They try to be. I'm not. They aren't always calculated. There's some things they messed up on, for sure.
I just thought it was a funny word choice because of the quick chat. You know, hey, listen, humor is so misunderstood here. I tried to throw you a bone, Ryan. I was giving you points for being really clever on the word choice, and
with that, I'm gonna show people the Haunted Hollows thingy. So here we're gonna shut up for a second. You can just watch this if you haven't seen it yet. I like it. I am so excited to play on that field, man. It looks so cool. I like that they're actually giving us like a somewhat scary looking field.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I actually, again, I'm so happy that they have the Stranger Things items inclusion because I don't even watch the show, but like that's dope. Like I love the partnerships that they do for the different the different brands that they get involved in the game. Like that's such good stuff. And like, it's only good for the game.
Like that's not even like a partnership I would think to do. But like,
but it's cool.
Like,
that's the thing.
That's the thing is like they do so many partnerships that's like I wouldn't even think of. Like the Jurassic Park one. Like I wouldn't have thought of like, oh yeah, bring the Jeep into this. Like that's just stuff I never would have thought of. And so it's like I'm always intrigued whenever they make these partnerships because I think that they do a really good job with them. But with the Stranger Things collaboration, it includes that Stranger Things version of Farmstead. And it also includes some esports item, or not esports items, some items along with it. We were just talking about all that, so it's like in my head.
Yeah, I hope with the redesign of Farmstead that they went through that they fixed the backboard on Farmstead because sometimes when you're on the backboard you can't really see because there's like that weird panel. It's just the design of the map, and it's super, super, super aggravating. So I hope that with their redesign there, that they adjusted that in some way so you can see from behind the backboard because it angers me.
Well, hopefully they did fix it, but gonna quickly we're gonna pause the. We're gonna come back and do the league play recap here in just a sec, but I want to do the roster shuffle real quick.
Okay.
Chaos EC has signed Plot Twist, so when you're looking at RLRS, you're going to be seeing Chaos EC instead of Plot Twist. And then also for Nefarious, they were signed by Full Metal Gaming, also known as FMG. So you're not going to see Nefarious in Rival Series, you're going to see FMG. Just a heads up, that is all we have for the roster shuffle stuff. There are teams that kind of like broke up and stuff because of RLRS. We'll probably discuss all that later, but we don't have time for it, so we're not gonna. We didn't really bother with the roster shuffle right now. All the important teams, they're already in stuff.
Yeah, this is all the roster shuffle stuff is really, a lot of that happens in the off season, but now that we have entered the RLCS season, it's pretty dry.
Done. Now it's just going to be about org signings and things like that. But that concludes the roster shuffle. So nice. Right back on into the league play recap. We're going to start with North America, and then we're going to move on over to Europe after that. So starting with game 1 here in North America, it was the Pittsburgh Knights, formerly known as the Peeps, versus Ghost Gaming. Ghost managed to take that one 3-1. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be the other way, 3-1 in favor of Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, this was one because I'm gonna say now the Pittsburgh Knights. It's gonna take a second to get used to that. Because they had such a obviously phenomenal result with DreamHack Montreal that a lot of people had really high expectations for this team going into it. I think people slept on Ghost, though. I'm not sure people realize just how good Atomic is, because there were points where Atomic carried Ghost through that series. His offensive production, he was a bit shaky like the first game or two, but once he sort of, I think, got himself under control and got, maybe some nerves out of the way, that kid was killing it for Ghost.
Yeah. No, and
they look so much more smooth.
Well, I almost wouldn't be surprised if by the Peeps winning DreamHack, it caused people to not underestimate them.
Right.
And so people went and studied up on the DreamHack replays and stuff of how does this team play? And I really wouldn't be surprised if the Peeps kind of showed their hand a little too early with their DreamHack showing. Again, congratulations on the DreamHack win. They totally earned it. But I'm almost there were a lot of pro players who were still critical of the team, this playstyle is not going to work long term. And I'm curious if that's going to be the case, but they then managed to then go and take down Rogue 3-0. But even with that, I still think that it's I think teams are now aware of that team. Teams aren't sleeping on them anymore. But going into the game number 2, it was 3-1 G2 versus Birds and the Bees. G2 managed to take that one. Not surprising. I think a lot of people expected that. Birds and the Bees, I honestly expect them to be 8th place in the league play standings, to be honest.
Yeah, G2 really didn't look good in game 1. They dropped that first game, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people were worried when they saw it because they truly did not look good in that first game. But they're G2, and they figured it out, and they turned around. Typical heart attack G2. They're going to make you worry. They're never going to make it easy for themselves. But, they were outside of the one game they lost, they were fairly convincing. I think this is a fairly expected result.
Yeah, and G2, they seem like they're getting more and more comfortable with themselves. And so the league play standings I'm expecting is NRG, G2, C9, to be honest.
That's fair.
That's what I expect. I expect G2 is going to get another 6-1 season. I mean, they've already got that 4 times in a row now, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
They always manage to get that second place position. I think they'll do it again. And then the third game, we already kind of talked about Peeps versus Rogue. That was a clean sweep in favor of Pittsburgh Knights. I'm using their names interchangeably, but we'll get used to it. But I was really disappointed in Rogue.
Yeah,
I love Rogue so much. It hurts me. It's so hard to be a fan.
Yeah, and especially after, because that series was after the Knights had played Ghost. I
Yeah.
thought Rogue might have been able to press the issue, because
Yeah,
they
and that's kind of what I was hoping is like they maybe saw what worked for Ghosts and they were
it
going to come
just
in prepared, but it's
they
like
yeah, AJ and Wonder I don't really think played that well in that series. That's probably a series they'll look to forget. I mean, really for
I
the
mean,
whole team. Obviously,
even
3-0 is
Kronovi,
not.
like even Kronovi tweeted afterwards saying like he should have used a different car. Like, so I'm guessing like he even wasn't feeling that great that series. And I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but
his
they
car
just looked
justifies
awkward.
it. I'm just saying like I think they just didn't feel like they were playing. I don't. They definitely weren't playing their game, is what I'll say.
Yeah, definitely not a great result for Rogue. They'll look past that one.
Yeah, I'm looking to see them bounce back, hopefully. But moving on to game number 4 in North America, it was Ghost Gaming versus Cloud9. That went about as good as you would expect it, and it was a 3-0 in favor of Cloud9.
Yeah, I don't really think there's much to say here.
Not
Cloud
really.
Nine's. I mean, Cloud Nine's just a better team. It
Yeah.
is, they're one of the big three for a reason. They illustrated why. I mean, they look as good as ever. It's Cloud Nine.
Yeah, and Cloud9, I mean, they're going to be top 3 team. I see Ghost Gaming bottom 3, to be honest. I don't see them doing better than bottom 3. Like, that's just where I think
Yeah,
they're going to end up, personally. But
we'll see.
yeah, it's one of those things that like time will tell. I mean, the fact that they took down the Peeps 3-1, pretty good. I mean, next they play Rogue. If Rogue plays the way they did this week, that's gonna be another easy win for them. Like they could do better than what we're expecting, but I'm just not holding my breath just yet on them. But the final game for North America, that was Energy versus Space Station Gaming. That went in favor of Energy 3-1.
Yeah, and again, I would say another anticipated result here.
Yeah.
You know, once Energy got that result at Beyond the Summit of taking it down, I think people realized that adding Turbo was not a problem. A good showing for Turbo, I think, in his first week in NA. It seems that he's all
I mean, even
set
at
up down there and good to go.
even at the for the astronauts tournament where it was like the 4 teams, like
Right.
Turbo's playing like in a lawn chair. He had like just set up his PC and like he still killed it. Like
Yeah,
Energy still did good. So it's like
yeah, they're legit, and
yeah.
Turbo's legit, and he's here, and I think they're going to be rolling over NA this season. It's going to be fun.
But you got anything else you want to add for the North American side of things?
Top 3 teams all won their series.
Yep.
Big 3 is still the big 3. If there was any questions before, they still look good. We haven't seen anything about that changing yet.
No, I'm more curious to see what it's going to be whenever they start going up against the Peeps. And like the Peeps are the main one that I'm kind of looking at to see how they fare against the big 3, because I feel like if anyone has that upset potential with them, it's them. But at the same time, like I said before, I feel like they may have shown their hand already and they're out of luck now. So it's one of those things. We'll kind of play it out, see how it goes. But yeah, Turbo is one of the best players in the world. Any team that has him will be a world contender. That coming from Eternal J, and he's an EU guy, so he knows full well.
Oh yeah, no, Turbo's.
He knows full well how good Turbo is with the rest of the competition. I mean, not that Turbo's record doesn't speak for itself.
Yeah, it's again, if there were any questions about Turbo's ability to play in NA, I don't think there are anymore.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good team. I think that they definitely are a world contending team, and I'm just excited to see how they go. I think that they're going to end league play number 1, to be honest.
I tend to agree with that.
They just look good, and that's just Energy's MO too. Like they're just that good.
Yes, they are.
But now we are going to fly across the ocean over to EU, and we are going to take a look at game number 1. This was between the two of the new RLRS promoted teams, Complexity and Veloce. That one went in favor 3-1 for Veloce. I thought Complexity were going to take it, to be honest. I thought Complexity were going to come in and, wipe the floor with them. But again, Veloce, they went 7-0 in league play, so they've played this Complexity roster before. This roster didn't change in the offseason. So, and this Veloce roster also added Casio in place of Niels Cook.
Yeah, I think this is one of the more interesting results. I think most people would have picked Complexity. I thought Veloci did a, generally speaking, good job of shutting down Flakes. I don't think Flakes had the impact that he normally would.
Yeah, and I think that's what you have to do if you're going to play Complexity, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty much if you can keep Flakes' impact to a minimum, you're going to do well, and I thought Veloci did a good job of that. They deserved a winner in that series, I thought.
Yeah. No, I thought so too. But I mean, again, just the way that Complexity's been playing on the offseason, totally was expecting them to take it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
tough result for Complexity.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely not the way you want to start your RLCS, as we'll get into a bit more. But the second game in EU was Reciprocity versus FC Barcelona. That game came right down to the wire. Reciprocity managed to take it though, 3-2.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those ones I think that could have gone either way. Obviously, we saw both those teams really go at it. I think Barcelona will be okay. I
think they'll bounce back.
That's never a guaranteed result against Reciprocity because when they're on their game, like when they're really on their game, like they're one of the best teams in the world. So
yeah,
if I'm Barcelona, I'm not sweating it too much, but people will have questions off the start.
And also them losing Alpha, who
we'll
talk about here in a little bit. We did talk about him already. He's a dominant player, and so them losing him, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a blow to that team, to be honest. And I'm not saying that who was it that filled the spot?
Ronicky, right?
Ronicky. I'm not saying that Ronicky's a bad player, but I just don't know that you're going to be able to fill that aggression that Alpha had.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. And,
kind of like Yukio trying to, not as bad, but Yukio trying to come fill in for K-Dop.
Right, and it's like, I don't know. I think they'll be okay. I'm not too concerned about them yet. That's a tough team to go against in your first week. I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, I think they will too. That's a solid roster for the most part. Still, I'm looking.
Yeah.
I think that they've got it in them to be a top 4 team. To be honest,
I agree.
But going on to the next one, this one didn't see it coming. I feel like this one was a reverse sweep, if I'm not mistaken. No, it almost was. It was Veloce versus Dignitas, and the final series score was 3-2 in favor of Veloce. I think Veloce got up 2-0, and then Dignitas came back so close to the reverse sweep, and then Veloce managed to clinch out Game 5.
Yeah, what a fun series this was to watch. I unfortunately wasn't able to catch it live. I watch a lot of NFL on Sunday, so admittedly my my EU Rocket League,
I was starting to get ready for like rival series casting at this point, so
right,
I was kind of tuning out a little bit.
Yeah, so I had to go back and watch it, but yeah, this one was a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, huge result for Veloce here. If their objective is simply to avoid the drop, if that's the expectation coming into the season is to avoid the drop, 2-0 start for them. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, top of the EU leaderboard, and you're coming in as a team that didn't even technically make it.
Right.
You just got promoted off a team breaking up for the first time in Rocket League history. In RLCS history, not Rocket League history. That happens all the time. But crazy that they can't, it just shows this team has what it takes, and it's they got 7-0 for their league play, and to think if Triple Trouble hadn't broken up, this team would still not be here. And they're doing this well right off the bat. Again, one of their games was against a former competitor in Rival Series there with Complexity, but they took down Dignitas. That's worth something, I feel.
Well, It is. So, it's a bit early to really say,
Yeah, no, I'm not counting my eggs
because
before they hatch. They still have
a
some
long
really
way to go.
tough
And
teams to deal with.
but regardless, typically to avoid the drop, you usually have to get at least 3 wins in
Yeah.
RLCS.
I mean, literally, one more is all they need.
Usually, in most seasons, that's how it's been. Yeah, they need one more series, I think, to really stay above the drop, which is a phenomenal result for them. But
Yeah.
puts a lot of pressure on a lot of these other teams here.
I mean, especially complexity, for instance. Like, that's rough,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But moving on to game number 4, speaking of complexity, they lost 1-3 against Renault Vitality. Can't say this one's surprising. The defending world champions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to be expected. Like, now that we're in league play, you can expect Renault Vitality. They're going to come into this. They're going to go hardcore because they're going to try and aim for another almost undefeated season, if not undefeated.
Yeah. I think this is a result that you just have to expect if you're complexity. I don't really think there's too much to say about this. Obviously, Renault Vitality looks good. They're your defending world champions. They really should. Pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah. And then moving on to game number 5 there for Europe. TSM versus Mouse Esports. This one was a hell of a way to end the weekend. Or to end RLCS for the weekend. TSM managed to pull off the reverse sweep against Mouse Esports. Did you get to watch any of this game?
Yes, actually I did because
because I got to watch it too, and like, dude.
Yeah, it was just after I had it up. The Patriots game was just about ending, and this was on, and so I was watching this, and first of all, let me just say it: first 2 games, TSM looked awful. It looked like they had never played before.
So bad. They looked terrible, and Mouse Esports looked freaking phenomenal. They were winning their games like 4-1, 5-1. Like, they were destroying TSM. Like,
there were
it
so
looked
many...
like an easy sweep for these guys.
I thought for the first 2 games, I thought may have been the 2 worst games I've ever seen out of Remco.
Personally, I looked terrible.
I'm not going to mince words when I say it. Like it was bad. Like it was really bad. And then something happened.
That was one of those things I was like watching it and I was like, this team's getting dropped from RLCS this season.
No, but it really did look that bad. No,
like, that was immediately my thought. I was like, TSM's done for. But like Eternal J said there, this was the ultimate alpha carry. This dude, like, something happened in game 3 and like the stars aligned for this dude because he started popping the hell off for this team. They destroyed the next 3 games against Mouse.
Yeah.
Like, it was... If you haven't seen this game, go back and watch it. Like, Alpha was just a monster of a player. And that's why I talk about FC Barcelona losing him like it's a big deal, because the way he played there, it is a big deal that you lost him, because the dude was on fire.
Yeah, and I think once he was able to sort it out with Metzenaris and Remco about where his positioning should be, once he started getting into his spots where, he was able to make some more of those solo plays, like, yeah, it changed the whole series around. And credit TSM for not folding. Because considering how poorly they started, they could have very easily just gone quietly into the night and, taken the 3-0 and been like, well, it's just a bad start. But they hung in there. Alpha put in one of the best performances I've seen individually in a long time. And,
well, and that's
kudos to them.
Like, I don't care what they decided on who week 1 MVP was. Like, it was Alpha. And I think a lot of people's minds, it was Alpha after that carry of his. Like, they gave it to Casio on Veloce. Again, I don't think a lot of people expected them to do that well. But I think Alpha more than freaking earned it there. Because he was just a beast. And he currently leads in the Golden Striker standings. Of course, after how he played, I don't blame it.
Yeah, just an absurd performance. It's not sustainable that way, though. I don't expect it to be like this throughout the whole season. if you're a TSM fan, they're very much a lot of things to look at and be concerned about.
Yeah.
But for now, you're really thankful you got out of that series with a W. You're kissing Alpha's shoes because
they scraped by on that one, and it definitely was all thanks to him.
Yeah, just unbelievable, really.
He carried them so hard, dude. He put that team on his back and was like, "We're doing this. Whether you like it or not, we're gonna win this."
Reminds me of some of my solo queue games, where you get like the random like 1700 player amongst a group of like low GCs, and he's just like,
I got this story.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things too that it was like Alpha stepped up so big, but Remco just he in particular just looked really, really bad for TSM. Like, even after Alpha started stepping up, like, he kind of started rising up. Like, he started kind of feeding off of Alpha's momentum. But, man, like, he just did not look good. Even after that, like, you could still look at it and be like, he only has, like, the stats that he has because of Alpha in that series. Like, man, he just didn't look good. Like, there's no nice way to put it. He just looked bad.
And the one thing I'll say is that it's one series. We're not gonna sit here and overreact to simply one series. However, like, it was poor, and I'm sure that they will work on it and they will figure it out. It looked, honestly, like the mistakes. It looked like it like sort of like it was communication, or it was simply like play style and philosophy.
Yeah,
but man, like, don't you think those things? Those things should have been worked on forever ago. This is you're in your first week of RLCS, and they were making bad double commits. They were making poor touches in their defensive area. The offense, the passing wasn't there. It was bad, just all around bad. And they turned it around, but they're gonna have to figure it out.
Definitely a nail biter of the series for sure. But that concludes the rundown of the Europe League play for week 1. Man, just already we're off to a great start. I'm so excited to see how week 2 pans out. That's coming up soon. And then it's officially week 1 of the Rival Series. That all kicks off on Friday. And then you can always tune into the B stream where we'll be doing EU Rival Series League play on Saturdays. And Eternal J there in chat, I believe he's also going to be one of the commentators for that, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's just got some other. I know he does a lot of commentary stuff, so I'm pretty sure he's doing it though. And then on Sundays you could possibly catch me, not this weekend though, because I'm going out of town, but possibly week 3 you'll see me again. But you got anything else you want to add, man?
If we have a little bit of time here at the end, really quick, while we're on media, can we pull up the trailer that they put out for RLCS Madrid? Do you have it really quick?
I can find it very quickly. Give me one.
It's because we showed the one for the Stranger Things, and I thought that was actually individually a really good trailer as well.
Yeah, they always do so good with their trailers, though.
But they're always so nice. For Madrid, this one for Madrid is one of the best pieces like of video that I've seen for Rocket League ever. So I want to share it. If you haven't watched it on your own, we're gonna pull it up for you right now. But this is, if you're listening audio only, go ahead on YouTube and you'll hear it, but go on YouTube and find it, and it's awesome.
So we'll show you guys this, and then we're going to go into our sign-off. But here you go. This is the trailer for Madrid LAN for RLCS Season 8. Moments. Legends will rise.
The first one there. Devo looks for the pressure. He double tapped this hit. Wild 9. Squishy now. Oh, Daly, he puts it through. He's been going for this stuff. Into the corner. There's that ball, a shot. Vincent Rocket. Oh, and a great pitch to Warren. The Cubs pitch. The man is a legend. Carries to Gale.
It just looks so good. They do such a good job all the time, though.
Yeah, that's what I love. I love the style of that video. Like it's just
I like
it's
the
so good.
hype
It's so good.
Gets inside you. You know, it's they do an awesome job with all of these though, and you know, Worlds this season, man, it's gonna be. Whew, it's just every single year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're just like, oh my god, who's gonna be able to take it? And like, yeah, I'm just pumped for it. I'm ready to see how this league play pans out. Ready to see who makes it into RLCS. Ready to see who falls out of it, and ready to see who wins it all. And, you know, I'm hoping this season that Sam and OCE can come in and make some stand-up plays and showcase themselves a bit more.
Yeah, we have so much to look forward to. It's like this is like a breath of fresh air, to finally be back in the season. It feels so good.
It's so nice. It's so awesome. It's just like, it's your favorite sport coming back around. You're just like, just give it to me.
Inject it straight into my veins.
Yeah, just straight in there, please. But you got anything else you want to add, man?
No, I just wanted to share that piece of media with our audience tonight. That was the one thing I wanted to add, so I think I'm good.
No, it was good call. I like that one a lot. But guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Once again, be sure to follow us here, give us a thumbs up, do all those things wherever you are. We would appreciate it greatly. And then this is going to be uploaded later on YouTube and podcast services for you to listen to at your leisure. We know that we did a bit earlier today. We're sorry, just for our schedules, it just works out a bit better for us to do this early. But Perino, why don't you kick out your plugs real quick? I'll kick out mine and we can call it a day.
Well, if you enjoy listening to the sound of my beautiful voice and looking at my beautiful face, you can check me out at twitch.tv/Perino. You can watch some low-level GC gameplay. It's usually pretty poor. And you can listen to me rage at my teammates. It's always a good time. Check me out there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Perino TV. It is on your screen right there. Ryan, tell me a little bit about yourself, because I heard you're a Rival Series caster, so where can I find you?
You can follow me at PWR_Ryan on Twitter, and you can also find me there on Twitch. You're not going to see GC level gameplay. You might see Diamond or Platinum level gameplay if and when I decide to stream again. I got the voice and I have the know-how. I just can't seem to put it into my actual gameplay is all.
It's all right. You can't have everything, You
know, you can't. But I'm happy enough with where I am. But feels good to be back. I'm happy that I was able to come in and do the episode tonight. But guys, thank you so much. This has been Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm Ryan. That's Perino, and it has been our pleasure to have you with us. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you guys next week. Hope to see you out on the pitch.
Later, guys.